do study DSA, do computer science fundamentals. You don't have to jump into AI, ML or blockchain in your first year. Like build your basics. जब फाउंडेशन अच्छा रहेगा ना, फिर तुम पे कुछ भी फेंक के देंगे, तुमको ग्राफक्यूएल फेंक के देंगे, तुम कर लोगे, क्योंकि तुम्हें अगर बेसिक बैकएंड आती है, ग्राफक्यूएल इज नो डिफरेंट, लाइक थोड़ा सा ही तो अलग है कुछ. सो बेसिकली वन वन क्रेजी एक्सपीरियंस फ्रॉम दिस, लाइक मुझे ग्राफक्यूएल नहीं आती थी. आई हैड एन इंटरव्यू एट अ स्टार्टअप. मैंने एक दिन में ग्राफक्यूएल पे एक प्रोजेक्ट बनाया एंड आई गिव द इंटरव्यू एंड आई पास द इंटरव्यू. So it is not like you will learn something for 3 months, then you will apply, then you will get opportunities. It is more of a flux का state है वो physics में flux होता था ना, जो it's just a constant. It's not something which is static. It is in motion. You are studying also, you are learning also, you are applying also, you are testing your code also, you are like testing your theories, you are making mini projects और सब कुछ.
So, hey everyone, welcome back to the new episode. In this podcast, we will be discussing about Karsh journey, who had won the 10 plus hackathons, including SIH. Also, he worked with the 6 plus startups, and now he's working at this company that is Fargo. And so, let's know about him. So, Maya, can you give your introduction, big introduction?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Utkarsh. I'm from SRM University, which is based in Chennai, but I hail from Jharkhand, which is my hometown. As Gagan already said, like I have a little bit of achievements on my plate. Like in my first year, I won the Smart India Hackathon, which was in 2022. I'm from the 2025 batch of engineering. Apart from that, like I have participated in a lot of MLH based MLH conducted hackathons as well. um, like in my first year, it was sort of like I'm working on a hackathon project, attending 2 hackathons in the weekend, which was both remotely, and Monday I have like a test or something. So I was always this kid who would like code more and do more hackathons rather than focus on college exams and basic stuff that everyone goes through. So I was more interested in that stuff. So talking about my coding journey from the start, I got interested into programming when I was in my 8th standard. I was learning basic C, C++, basic चीजें जो होती हैं. थोड़ा while loop हो गया, थोड़ा for loop हो गया, basic shit जो होती है. Then I got interested into Arduino, how do you call it? I'm not really sure. I used to write some code to like make mini robots or mini machines. But then I realized that I'm not really meant for doing that, because basically I basically broke a soldering iron and I destroyed a Arduino board, which is a very big sin. Any embedded system engineer who would be seeing this would be like, bro, what the hell is he saying? This should not be done. This is like a huge sin in their world. But yeah, I got into college and I was like observing what's happening around me, like seeing people, like what companies they're working in, what sort of interviews are going on, like कोई Amazon में है, कोई Google में है, someone is in good startups and all of that. I was just researching about everything. Ki, what are the companies? How do you get into these? What is the interview process? What is the college tier and what comes to your college and how do you apply off campus and everything? So this is before joining college. I did a whole lot of research regarding ki how can you like get into good companies and everything. उसके बाद I got really interested into like competitive programming थोड़ा बहुत. I got like 3-star, 4-star code chef पे किया 2-3 महीने में. Then I was like, I was just trying to explore I was just trying out the field of engineering, like क्या क्या होता है, क्या कर सकते हैं. Then I stumbled upon web development. I was like, अच्छा, this is web development. This is what a lot of folks are doing. So I started doing web development. First year में I got into a college club where there were really amazing seniors. Like some people were SD, some people are now SD2s. Some are working in Amazon, some are working in really good US based startups and everything. So the environment there was very nice. So I got a lot of open source ka gyan and a lot of web development ka gyan from there. Like our seniors would really like get into it and like हमें बिठा के पढ़ाते थे वो. Literally they would like teach us कि this is how the web works, this is how the systems are built, this is how websites are built and all that. So that was really amazing. Like that gave me a huge boost in my career and in my entire like 4 years of college. Like उसके बाद like I got into a little bit of there are these small companies which hire for freelance projects. They are basically freelance agencies. So I had a contact who was running a freelance agency. I just talked to him. He gave me a task. I got in. So that was basically my first internship. This is in second year of college. And by now I have applied everywhere, literally on every job post that you can see on LinkedIn. I would write web development intern, JavaScript intern, React intern, backend intern, सब कुछ मैं apply कर रहा था. I had like 200 plus rejections, and I had a lot of
Oh.
rejections. I had 20 interviews which I failed before that, and this was like my first breakthrough. This happened in my
Mm,
fourth semester. Finally got an internship which would actually pay some money, and like the work is also like you can learn stuff.
mm,
After that, I got into a company which was funded by Appright. So Appright is a pretty famous startup from US. They were
mm,
funding open source projects. So I got into one of these startups called as Slashbase. There I met a person. That was like a three-man team. One guy was working in US का Amazon AWS में काम कर रहा था वो. One guy was he was fully into Android development. He had been like senior engineer at multiple startups, sold the startup, and he has done stuff like that. And then there was me, like a second year ka engineering student who is like into open source and a little bit of coding. So
mm,
I learned a lot there. Like I learned how to actually write code, how to structure code, how to like think in terms of कि there are things which is efficiency हो गया, then user experience हो गया. बहुत चीजें होती हैं
mm,
जो कि कोड के अलावा होती हैं, which a lot of you can't really get to know when you are learning stuff on your own from a course or something. That those things like how to structure your code, जैसे types कैसे बनाते हैं TypeScript में, how do you structure your types, कैसे architecture कैसे बनाना चाहिए एक बड़े application का. So we got like 1000, 2000, 1500 कुछ stars we got on our repository. We got funded by Appright, and it was very fun. 3 months का tenure था, and I learned a lot. Then I ventured into Web3 थोड़ा सा. Like I understood that
oh,
people in Web3 are like, they are doing really good. Like they are learning and they are like making a lot of money. So I was like, चलो Web3 करते हैं. But then again,
mm,
I didn't know any much Web3. I just knew full stack web development, front end, back end,
mm,
React, Next, basic stuff, वही Redux वगैरह जो करते हैं. बहुत ही
mm,
सिंपल फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल्स पे चलने वाला बंदा था मैं. ऐसा कुछ
mm,
आई वॉज मोर ऑफ अ पर्सन कि तुम मुझे कुछ काम दे दो, आई वुड लर्न इट एंड डू इट ऑन द गो. आई वॉज नॉट द पर्सन जो कि बहुत चीजें ऐसे पहले से सीख के रखा है. आई वॉज ऑलवेज द गाय कि यू थ्रो समथिंग एट मी, आई जस्ट मेक इट वर्क somehow. I would like write good code and still I'll be able to like pull it off. So that is basically the hackathon mindset कि like एक दिन AI का प्रोजेक्ट बना रहे हैं, अगले हफ्ते ब्लॉकचेन का प्रोजेक्ट बना रहे हैं. So that sort of like inspired from there. And after that, like I worked for a solid 1 year there. It was a really nice time. Learned a lot, shipped a lot of products and projects as well, internal ho,
mm,
external ho. The company raised like $1 million in funding. Web3 है तो like funding तो बहुत होती है Web3 में. ये तो
ah,
everyone knows.
I,
Then
mm,
उसके बाद like I got into, I was like doing a lot of other stuff apart from the company as well. I was involved in my college on campus. Fifth sem में on campus start होने वाला है. I got this opportunity to basically be a iOS intern at Infosys. It was like a project. It was like a course जो कि college कराया था. They had some tie-up with Apple and Infosys. So we were like very excited about that. They taught us iOS development and all the iOS related skills. Then we got a 1 month internship where we got projects and पूरा agile methodology वगैरह पढ़ाया हमको, and we had to like build a product on our own in teams and everything. It was a really good experience. Kudos to SRM University for that. It was really amazing. Then उसके बाद before all of this, like I was applying on campus and all. I was doing interview preparation off and on, like Striver A to Z sheet हो गया थोड़ा बहुत, and doing the bare minimum stuff कि DSA कर लिया थोड़ा सा, सिस्टम डिजाइन पढ़ लिया, कंप्यूटर साइंस फंडामेंटल्स अच्छे से पढ़ लिए. आई वाज नॉट, दिस इज नॉट एग्जैक्टली बेयर मिनिमम. इट इज लाइक कि द इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन वाज ऑलवेज गोइंग ऑन. I just got an opportunity from a company called as Wells Fargo. Unka, they had their hiring in our college. It was an on-campus opportunity. I got into like, I gave the test. I cleared the test.
mm,
The interview was like very nice in a way that uh, other people who were in the interview, they didn't have a lot of pre-internship experience. They did not have like stuff basically, like they didn't have a lot of unique projects, or they were not too much into hackathons and stuff. So I was kind of standing out from there, from the general crowd, because I had a lot of hackathons and internship and project experience on my resume.
mm,
So my interview was mostly towards those things only. Like the people who did not have pre-intern pehle se internship experience and all, for them it was mostly DSA and basic CS fundamental questions. For me it was a little different. For me it was system design पूछ रहे हैं थोड़ा बहुत, then they're asking me DSA also in the middle, then they're asking me like how do you do something in, let's say, backend में ये चीज कैसे करते हैं, and how does this work. So a lot of discussion went around that. So these things were there. For example, if you want me to like discuss the DSA question वैसे. So they asked me like linked list से related question, time complexity हो गया, like W linked list में like searching deletion इसका time complexity कैसे होगा, then loop हो रहा है कि नहीं linked list में, वो bunny and tortoise वाला चीज होती है ना, that thing, rabbit and hare problem, rabbit and hare नहीं, sorry, what is it called, it's called rabbit and tortoise two pointers approach जो linked list में होता है, उससे related questions थे. There was basic questions, time complexity derivation of merge sort, binary search, सब पे time complexity derivation था. वो सब तो कॉलेज लेवल पे पढ़ते ही हैं सब. DA करके एक सब्जेक्ट होता है, राइट? There they teach like how to mathematically derive all the time complexity and stuff. So that was asked. Apart from that, there was a lot more focus on backend development, and they were asking core questions like, how do you do this? What sort of API structure would you make for this project, or explain your project to me? Like I had a few projects on my resume. They asked the database design, database कैसे चुना. Then they asked about कि why did you choose a SQL database and not a NoSQL database and stuff like that. They were asking questions related to that. Um, then in the HR interview, they were asking question about my past experiences. Like there were two rounds of the interview. First of all, so tech round mein they were asking mostly DSA, system design, and resume related stuff. In the next round, they were asking more managerial and more HR questions, like how would you deal with this if you're given a task which you don't know how to code. Like let's say you're a web developer but तुम्हें Android का project दे देते हैं, then how would you be able to cope with that? तो वो सब हो गया. Then how do you ensure efficient communication between like you and your manager, and basic general HR questions जो होते हैं, they asked me about that. And उसके बाद I got the internship opportunity. Then 2 महीने की internship थी. 2 months felt like a breeze. It was a really nice experience, like working in a Fortune 500 company, and it was very good. Like it was a really new experience for me because I was only involved in remote startups and remote work wala banda tha main. Then we went to office for the first time. I was like, my first question was, bro, how do you wear a shirt? Like I'm the kind of guy who would like sit in a hoodie, एक cafe में बैठ के code कर रहे हैं type का. But this was a very good experience. उसके बाद I got the PPO offer from there, and joining by next 2025 में. So I got the PPO offer from Wells Fargo. It was a really nice experience, like to like work in a big company. Like there is a lot of stuff जो कि हमें पता नहीं होता as engineering students, that how does a corporate work, how does how does communication work in general. Like we are only कि okay, lead code कर लेना है job लग जाएगी, CP कर लेते हैं job लग जाएगी. So it's not exactly like that. There is communication, there is understanding, there is a lot of like intricacies. Like to be honest, the only advice I would give to people is like, don't lose out on the first principle thinking. जो होता है ना, जो एकदम basic चीज होती है, उनको मत छोड़ो. Like do study DSA, do computer science fundamentals. You don't have to jump into AI, ML or blockchain in your first year. Like build your basics. जब foundation अच्छा रहेगा ना, फिर तुम पे कुछ भी फेंक के देंगे, तुमको GraphQL फेंक के देंगे, तुम कर लोगे, क्योंकि तुम्हें अगर basic backend आती है, GraphQL is no different. Like थोड़ा सा ही तो अलग है कुछ. So basically one crazy experience from this, like मुझे GraphQL नहीं आती थी. I had an interview at a startup. मैंने एक दिन में GraphQL पे एक प्रोजेक्ट बनाया, and I gave the interview and I passed the interview. So it is not like कि you will learn something for 3 months, then you will apply, then you will get opportunities. It is more of a flux का state है. वो physics में flux होता था ना, जो it's just a constant. It's not something which is static. It is in motion. You are studying also, you are learning also, you are applying also, you are testing your code also, you are like testing your theories, you are making mini projects और सब कुछ. Projects के बारे में आते हैं. Let's talk about hackathons in general, right? So my first outlook towards hackathons were like कि hackathons are really good places to build your tech stack in general, because तुम एक टीम के साथ काम करो, you will do something, you will learn it. तुम दूसरी टीम के साथ काम करो in a different project या कुछ, you will learn something else. Like don't be very stuck to कि I am a front end developer, I am a back end developer. At the end, you are a software engineer. You should know how to adapt a lot. Like work in ML sometimes, work in data science sometimes. कभी backend कर लो, कभी smart contracts कर लो. It's a free world, right? You are free to do anything. But सबको लगता है being a specialist is more important. Like code forces पे तो नहीं, उधर तो expert बन जाओ, उधर तो ज़्यादा better है. मैं तो pupil हूँ खैर. Then
आपके तो
like
आपका तो experience in both the field अच्छा है. Means crazy भाई. Means I had not even seen this type of a guy. I think so. Means I had talked and even 50 plus members. Means मैंने आज तक 50 से ज्यादा लोगों से बात की है, और 100 से ज्यादा लोगों से मिला हूँ इन एनी ऑफ मीटअप्स। मैं मुंबई के मीटअप्स में गया इन फोर्थ ईयर, आई हैड नॉट इवन सीन दिस गाय कि भाई वो हैकेथॉन्स भी जीत रहा, और वो भी 10+ हैकेथॉन, वो भी फर्स्ट ईयर में एसआईएच जीत रहा, वो पहली बार सुन रहा हूँ। एंड पहली बार उस बंदे के साथ
Hey
बात कर
bro,
रहा हूँ।
it's all
सेकंड थिंग
possible
इज
bro, like
सेकंड थिंग इज आप कोड फोर्सेस पे बता रहे हो मेरे को, प्यूपिल हो, वो एक
pupil
रहता कि
I mean, देखो,
प्यूपिल।
it's like I did code chef mostly. 4 star था first year में. Then I was like, I'm not really enjoying this a lot. I want to do core development. Like then I got into web development fully. So it is not. I tried a lot of things. I have a lot of regrets also. मैंने कभी AIML अच्छे से नहीं try किया. मैंने data science अच्छे से try नहीं किया. Android अच्छे से try नहीं किया. But iOS try कर लिया, तो I kind of know कि हाँ, मतलब थोड़ा थोड़ा तो सिमिलैरिटीज है, दोनों दोनों तो मोबाइल डिवाइसेस पे ही चलते हैं ना, तो आई हैव अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ लाइक फेमिलियरिटी उस चीज में। लाइक आई हैव बीन दिस काइंड ऑफ गाय जो कि हर चीज ट्राई करना पसंद करता है। लाइक आई डोंट लाइक टू लाइक स्टिक टू वन थिंग फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम, बिकॉज यू नो इफ यू स्टिक टू वन थिंग यू आर रिस्ट्रिक्टिंग योर ऑप्शंस। मतलब वी पुट अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स इन आवर हेड की we put a lot of things in our head कि भाई हैकाथन कितनी बड़ी चीज होती है, हम तो कोड ही नहीं कर पाएंगे ये वो, बट देन यू फाइंड 4 people, you find 3 people of you build a team, अपने से अच्छे लोगों के साथ में टीम बनाओ, you will learn from them, just absorb. Life is all about being a sponge and absorbing all the experiences that life throws at you. ओपन सोर्स कर रहे हैं लोग, साथ में कर लो, ओपन सोर्स सीख जाओगे। इंटर्नशिप पे वेब सीख रहे हो तो साइड में बैकएंड सीख रहे हो, कुछ और कर रहे हो साइड में, तो like don't let the opportunities pass. Say more yes in life than saying no. Like if you start saying no to things कि नहीं I am a backend dev, I will not do front end, then 4 years के बाद you will be like कि bro मुझे front end आता ही नहीं है। इंटरव्यू में होगा, बोलेंगे कि we want a full stack developer, how would you cope then? That would be like a negative point for you, right? So like that sort of stuff is very like important for any student. For like do you want to ask any other things like specific interview preparation stuff related to?
I want. I means I had not even seen like you, means the thinking like you, means I had listened the one thing only, just focus on one thing, but you are like कि बाकी की भी चीजें करना पड़ना जरूरी है, बाकी भी
हाँ
चीज करना जरूरी है। If we are doing front end, then we have to do the back end. If कोई भी opportunity आती है, then we should be applicable for that opportunity. That is an amazing thing I got from you, and I will learn from you what you said. It is crazy, man. I had not even seen this. Okay, so let's talk about your interviews. तो जब आपने यूएस बेस्ड स्टार्टअप का इंटरव्यू दिया था, उसमें क्या था, उसके राउंड्स कैसे हुए थे? एचआर राउंड हुआ था, कैसे कोडिंग राउंड्स थे, प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में क्या पूछा, बताइए।
Okay, are you talking about the placement
US
which I
based
got from my college? It's not a startup, first of all. It's a Fortune 500 company. Like it's a proper MNC. So it's
Okay.
the company name is Wells Fargo. They come to our college. They mostly have on-campus drives only. I'm not really aware कि they do off-campus or not. There must be some way or something, but I'm not really aware about that, so I can't comment. So basically, there was 3 rounds. Let's say first is the test. Test was basically aptitude and 2 to 3 coding questions. Coding questions were mostly array based. तुम्हारा जो simple array and string based questions होते हैं with a little bit of twist. It was not very hard. It was at max lead code medium in terms of like toughness अगर वैसे compare करते हो तो, and the question specifically, the questions were mostly related to sorting and searching के ही थे मेरे लिए। बाकियों के लिए there were graph trees all that, but that depended on their set. Then there were a lot of aptitude questions like one more problem which I see with people is कि they only focus on DSA. भाई aptitude भी होता है, you will if you miss out on the aptitude ना, you will not get selected. Just 2 question करने से नहीं होगा, क्योंकि someone might do both the questions and do the aptitude as well. They will get shortlisted, you won't. So aptitude is also a very important thing which people have to focus on when they're applying. There's a very good company called as Goldman Sachs. उनका तो पूरा aptitude ही होता है first round. 60 questions का 60 minute का aptitude round होता है. That is very hard for people because बहुत मुश्किल होता है aptitude. But for me it was like a balance. The paper was medium difficulty का, aptitude वगैरह भी.